Tom, everyone's been talking are up in arms about the Yankees and this lineup. Obviously Stanton, along with Judge, all the hitters, but no one's talking about their pitching. And we know you're going to need some pitching down the stretch. What does their rotation look like, and could that be the downfall to the Yankees this year?
I actually think the rotation is okay, and that's all it needs to be because their bullpen is just lights out. I don't know if there's another bullpen in baseball that has more firepower, more swing and miss stuff, more options than the Yankees have. So they don't need, say, like a Nationals rotation that's going to take the ball deep almost every night. I think the Yankees are fine with 5-6 inning starts, just manage the game. And that's what Sabathia and Tanaka can do. Severino, to me, is the real deal. I mean, he was pushed last year in terms of his workload. That's the one thing I think I would keep my eye on to see if there's any fatigue left over from last year after pitching that 7th month into the ALCS. But stuff-wise, man, he's one of the top young starters in baseball. You got Sonny Gray sitting there in probably the number 3 hole for them. So he's an all-star pitcher. So I actually think the Yankees starting rotation is fine. It's hard for me to find faults with that team. I mean, if you want to really nitpick, you could say that their offense, as powerful as it is, has a lot of strikeouts in it. And I think there are some nights against really good pitchers where they can get shut down because, let's face it, their game is about hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and they'll do that a ton, don't get me wrong. But maybe in a postseason environment, it's their strikeouts that may come back and bite them.
Still kind of sticking with the Yankees theme here. In about 15 minutes, we got first pitch over in Miami. The Chicago Cubs taking on the Miami Marlins, but it's the Derek Jeter era as CEO of the Miami Marlins starting. How do you see this season, or what is the plan for the Miami Marlins this year and kind of going forward? Is it something that we saw with the Astros years before? Because we saw the wholesale pretty much changes this offseason. How do you see the Miami Marlins playing out this year?
Yeah, I think it's very similar to what the Astros did. I spent a bunch of time with Derek in the off season to get a kind of an inside look at what their plan is, and he was very forthright. Listen, this team has been not in the playoffs for a long time. 8 losing seasons. They've been last or next to last in attendance for a decade. This team, this franchise, needed a lot more than just a patch job. And I think they're doing the right thing because the worst place you want to be in today's game is the middle of the road, where you're neither a World Series contender or a rebuilding team. And I think they're doing the right thing. Now, I will say a lot of what happens with the Marlins to me has more to do with Gary Dembo than it does Derek Jeter, because Dembo is the player evaluation guru. He's the one who really helped build that Yankee system with impact hitters, people like Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez. And if he can bring that same magic to the Marlins, and he has made some deals where they've identified really young players, not major league ready players, but really young prospects. So I think you're looking at a 3 to 5 year rebuilding plan here because they have gone younger. Their farm system when Derek took over was really, really weak. So it's not as if they have the Cubs had some pretty good players already in their farm system. I think they trail the rebuilding plans of the Astros and the Cubs, but they're on that track. It'll take a little while, though.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.